Hey all, it's another episode of Meet Your Leaguemates. This time it's with Dave Reed. Hey Dave,
Hey, how's it going?
pretty good. How's it going with you?
Good. I'm excited to be on the pod.
We're excited to have you here. So why don't we start out with you telling us a little bit about yourself? Give us the
Yeah.
rundown.
So I guess the quick rundown. So I'm a dad of two. They're 3 and 1 as of right now. Big sports fan all around. Living in Connecticut. Grew up playing sports, more basketball and volleyball, but always had that competitive nature. So fantasy sports gives you some level of competitive outlet, which is good, especially when you're a dad of two and don't have too much time on your hands.
Mm.
But yeah, that's really it. Just love the game. I think it's a good way to bring people together all over the country. Obviously, Zach's Leagues does a great job at that. But yeah, it's a quick rundown to me. I know there's a few other questions that dive a little bit deeper, but surface level, that's me.
So how'd you get into fantasy football?
Yeah, so first time I ever played fantasy of anything was actually fantasy basketball in high school. I think it was like ninth grade. One of our classes was like sports management. You had to draft
Oh,
a team. It was a really cool way. So like we played that. And I was like, this is actually a ton of fun. Depending on the semester you either got basketball or football. And as I mentioned, I did basketball. So later that year, I think that was like 2004 or something. Later that year, when football season rolled around, my friends who all were in that class, we decided to do our first football league. And since then, I've just become obsessed. So it's part of my personality is when I get into something I like, I'm very obsessive about it.
so you had a class in school on sports management?
And sports marketing. Yeah. So I had those back to back years. It was pretty much out of like, I think there was like 30 someone people in there. And there was like maybe like almost all guys in those classes, but like everyone wanted in. So when you were starting high school, that was like one of the electives, and everyone was like clamoring to get one of those spots in there. And it was black because you literally it was just like you drafted a team, you managed that team or marketed it as if it was like a real franchise, and then you came up with like a stadium, you designed it, you came up with like sponsorships. It was a really fun class, and it opened up the world of fantasy sports to me.
That is cool. I'm glad to hear that they're doing that kind of stuff in some schools.
Yeah.
So
I think the
which
teachers loved it too, to be honest.
No doubt. That would be a fun one to teach,
Yeah,
especially when your students want to be there.
exactly.
So which leagues are you in and which teams do you have with Zach?
Yeah, so I brought them up because one of them I always forget the team. So I'm in 32, which was the first one I was in, and I think I like 2017 I joined it. And I am the San Francisco 69ers in that league. Um,
Okay.
Yeah, I still haven't won a title. Got knocked out this year. Thought I had a shot, but unfortunate and ran into a juggernaut. I'm also in what is it, NFL, I believe. It's my first year in it. I'm the Green Bay Packers in that one, and I am in
Um,
massive tank mode. Just secured the 101, so Marvin Harrison will be mine as long as he doesn't go back to college. And then in the Superflex 2, the first year of that, I just joined. I am the Arizona Cardinals, and I am now the NFC title champion and playing for the Super Bowl. I know. I'm sorry, Rene. I took you out along the way after you dominated the whole our division for the whole year.
wow. Yeah, you made some great trades there at the end. That was fantastic.
Yeah, I definitely had some luck on my side too. Not gonna not gonna deny that, but yeah, when I saw that I was going up against you and that you had a few unfortunate injuries, and I realized like I have a chance now. Before I was like, all right, I'll just write it out. I'm an underdog now. I was like, all right, I have a chance. Let me like go all in and try to make it happen. So it paid off. I beat Zach last week, um, and now trying to get my first actual title in one of these leagues.
That'll be fun. So I heard you say that you joined in 2017.
Yep. I didn't realize that until I looked at the Discord and saw what year was next
Oh.
to my name, and
Hmm.
so it was 2017. Yeah.
And how did you get in it?
Yeah. So I'd never done Dynasty before, and Zach's League is the first league of Dynasty ever doing. I feel like everything else is cake since then. But these are like great leagues, and I posted. So I follow the fantasy footballers pretty closely, and I have like some friends kind of connected to that network. And when I first wanted to get into Dynasty, they used to have like message boards if you were like in the Foot
Hmm.
Clan. So I just posted I was interested in Dynasty, and Zach actually emailed me reaching out about it, and sent me like all the bylaws and everything. I was actually on my way back, I think, from Atlantic City with my one of my other friends who co-manages with me in the 32 league. and he was interested too. And I was like reading it through, and at first I was like, man, there's like a lot of rules in this one I got to figure out here. But it's actually, and everyone in the league knows, like it's not a lot. That once you do it once, you understand it's not like as complicated. And Zach does a great job to like make sure it's a very well run league. But that was the first time I got in. I was pretty excited. I was a little overwhelmed at first, but it's worked out. So I adopted one of the teams, as I think many of us have over the
Mhm.
years. And I feel like I've been pretty successful with it, but we'll see.
Which one's your favorite team to run?
In his leagues, I have a soft spot for 32 since that was my first one in, and I've had quite the overhaul. I'm very excited though about the NFL one because that was like a tank job, and I haven't really done that much in any of his leagues. I've kind of always just been competing and rebuilding on the fly. But this one, I was like, all right, I got to gut this team, and I was able to draft Achan, Gibbs, JSN. And I have the 101 and a few other first round picks. I'm pretty excited to see how that team develops.
Mhm.
I think I took a page out of the book of Jason K in 32, where he just tanked, kept all his good players on the taxi squad, so it didn't go against your potential points, and got a couple of early round picks and rebuilt. So obviously, he had an unfortunate end in 32 this year, but I was like, yeah, that's actually not a bad route to go. I've never done that. Let's see what that's like. So I like it because it's different than what I'm used to doing.
Yeah. All right. So, who's your favorite player?
Player, I'm very excited about Gibbs, as I mentioned, just because it looks electric. I got him in the rookie draft in the NFL, and he's actually made me also a ton of money this year. One bet
Oh.
that I've done, it hasn't missed in 9 straight weeks. If anyone's in the sports game, his over on his longest rush every single week hits, and like pretty convincingly hits. It hasn't really been that close. And I will continue to do it until it misses, just like keep hitting that one. So he's fun to watch. He looks like he could be like potentially the top overall running back at some point. And he's obviously, I have a soft spot for him making me a ton of money over the past like 2 months. So that's always been fun.
Absolutely.
But love him, and Achan too. I love as well. I'm a sucker for any running backs that are just can have these blow up players. I'm a big upside player. So those guys are very, very fun.
What is your NFL favorite team?
The New York Giants. So it's been a weird year, but it's there's been some ups and a lot of downs. But yeah, I've had some glory years. The Super Bowl runs were
Mhm.
unmatched. They were amazing.
And where do you live?
So originally, I'm from Long Island, which hopefully my accent doesn't come out too much, other than when I say Long Island.
Right.
And then I went to like school at SUNY Albany, so I was upstate New York. Then I lived in Manhattan and Queens for a bit, but now that I have a family grown up, been moved out to Connecticut, so been here for about 2.5 years now.
So the Giants thing with Long Island makes sense.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it was either Giants or Jets. I'm very happy I did not go Jets, so that's good.
Did you have all the sheets and the pillowcases and all that kind of
Yeah, I
stuff?
had that. It was funny. I rotated between that and like my family is a big hockey family. My brother played at Naval Academy, so I had also like the old school hockey ones as well, with like the Hartford Whalers and the old school Canucks and everything. So, but yeah, I had all the different sheets and starter jackets growing up. It was awesome.
So, if you wanted, who isn't on your leagues or on your teams that you wish was?
Yeah, so there's three. One that I just never owned anywhere because I never have the top pick anywhere, whether it be redraft or dynasty in our leagues. But it's Justin Jefferson. Just
Mm.
a very select few people ever get to touch it because you're not trading for him. But other ones, Sam Laporta and CJ Stroud are two guys I got no shares of, and I feel part of it is like it wasn't super high in either one of them. I thought they were fine players, but like now watching them, I'm like these guys potentially are like the top of their home respective positions going forward, and I have
Hmm.
no shares. And again, I don't think I'll be able to trade for either of these. I did try to get Laporta in NFL, and I think Zach ended up getting him. I was very disappointed I couldn't grab him because now it's like there's no looking back. You're not getting that guy.
Hmm. No, it's true. And how many leagues are you in that are outside of these?
Yeah, so I have the three with Zach, and I have two redraft that I care about. And then I have the two other dynasties that I manage by myself. Both are super flex. One is the one I commission in with my friends. And then another one is I have two others that I co-manage with which are loosely related to well, one's related to the fantasy footballers. If any of you guys listen to that, it's the Dino Junior League. The
Mhm.
one that Jason and Mike were the champion and no longer are. So have a couple that I co-manage with, which are obviously if you co-manage, it's a little bit easier. So what is that total? Like six outside of this, so nine in total.
Okay, 9 is
Mm-hmm.
manageable still.
Yeah, it's single digits. I just kept it under 10.
Yeah, it's not 30.
Exactly. No, that'll that's when it starts taking years off your life. It's not fun anymore.
Seriously, ain't that
Yeah.
the case? So, so what's the coolest thing you own?
Yeah. So I was thinking about this. I don't have anything in particular that is like unique that I keep or like is an heirloom that I really pass down that much. But in general, things, or I guess three things, and they're all somewhat related. I love craft beer, so I have like my own craft beer fridge by me with like the glass so you can look in it. So I'm constantly it's constantly evolving because obviously I'm drinking them. But adding craft beers into there, and then I also recently been collecting like different whiskey bottles. Like my friend got me
Oh,
that as well, which both are fun because they're kind of displayable items that you get to use. The same thing I have I've been starting to do records as well. Because again, it's like I'm a lot about experiences and enjoying life, but kind of showing that off. So those are all fun where they're like almost interactive art where you put the whiskey and you
mhm.
have like a nice setup with lights. Same thing with the records and the beer. So those are the most fun things and coolest because whenever people come over, especially my in-laws, they like love all these things, and that's just kind of what we use when we're hosting. So
That's
I'd say
nice.
those are the most fun things I have.
Cool. And the new question we're now adding in is tell us about a past injury.
Yeah, so fortunately, I should say, I haven't had too many major injuries.
That's good.
The only, other than like a broken toe or nose that you can't really do anything about, and I'm sure that's happened countless of times. I broke my arm when I was like four, fell off a slide. But funny thing about that is when I was like seven or so, I think I wrote a book in my elementary school class about me breaking my arm, and my dad kept it and gave it to my son. So my son has made me read that book over and over again. So I never thought a book that I wrote when I was seven about an injury when I was four, I'd be reading to my 3-year-old. So that's interesting one. And then, but yeah, that's like really the only injury. I did have like a mole removed that was melanoma, but that was like nothing serious with that. At the end of the day, it was just removed. So that was like major surgery, I guess I had.
Okay, all right.
So and I have a scar for her, so like that's the only other thing. But yeah, other than that, nothing. Fortunately, nothing too crazy. Just more scratches and scrapes and sunburns as an Irish dude.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so you're living a relatively good life without a
Hmm.
lot of damage and destruction.
Yeah, my knees are messed up from years of use, but nothing major there yet.
What else do we need to know?
Let's see. I mean, I like to think I could be a stand-up comic. I've I've had a few. I've never done a full act on that yet. I did do improv for a bit when I was in the city, and I've hosted at like my jobs. Like we've had like talent
Mhm.
shows type parties, like what are holiday parties, and I was the host, and I did have kind of like the Oscars monologue stuff there, and a few different skits. I did a lip sync battle against my CFO, which was fun. So like to think that I'm fun and entertaining that way. But yeah, other than that, I mean, not many secrets with me. I like to think I'm pretty open about everything. But yeah, I mean, those are the cool things. I was in an Avicii music video back in the day as well.
Oh,
So if it's there's a quick shot of me silhouettes for Denim and Supply. If you ever look it up, the minute 158 mark, you'll find me just
oh, okay.
jumping. And then I did beat Tiki Barber in a race once. He did not know I beat it. It was the New York City Marathon. We weren't actually competing against each other, but I beat him in a race, and I will always say that because as a Giants fan, it's fun to know that you beat him.
That counts.
Yep.
All right, so some stand up, huh?
Yeah, I like the things. I watch a lot of it. Love comedy in general. So we'll see. I like to think I'm an observational comedian, but I'm not. I'm definitely. I work in finance, so like that's definitely my my day job. Comedy is more just like something I believe I could do without actually ever attempting it.
I was reading something last week that over 50% of men believe that they could land a commercial
Oh
airline.
yeah, why
Yeah.
not? Well, I mean, my brother was a helicopter pilot. If it was like, yeah, if he can do it, I'm smarter than him. Why
Oh
not?
my.
Like,
Okay. So yeah, why not do a stand up?
yeah, exactly.
That's funny. So what do you do for a living?
So I am in strategic finance or like FP&A for tech companies. So I've been in like startup tech world for probably like 9 years now. So my first one, I was an auditor back in the day. I hated that. It was like soul crushing. I worked at Ernst and Young, but now then I was at Foursquare. I don't know if anyone remembers that app. You were like checking in, but it was also how you could like find restaurants and bars and stuff like that. And now I'm at this company called Uncork, which is like a no code platform. You can build like applications with drag and drop menus and stuff like that. Constantly changing the exact way we position the narrative of the company, but it's been good. Get to work remotely, which is awesome. So that's why I'm in Connecticut. But yeah, just working in finance. So everyone just thinks that anything with numbers I'm an expert on. Not exactly true, but it's close enough.
All right. Well, cool. It's been a pleasure getting to know you. And now everybody else will know everything about you here. So,
Hopefully, yeah, I know, and I'm appreciating you doing this too, because there's so many people in the Discord, and it's hard to like put faces and names in there. So
yeah.
this is a great way to do that.
What's the best way to get hold of you, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've been pretty active when either tagged on or directly messaged on Discord. So feel free to do it that way. As long as I get the badge on my phone, I'm very neurotic about badges on any of my applications. I have to clear them out. So if
Me
you
too.
create one, I will go in and check what's going on and then probably respond. But if anyone has like an email, my email or cell phone, I'm pretty good about that as well. So.
Well, good luck in the Super Bowl.
Thank you. Fingers crossed. Still don't know how to feel because I've never gotten this far. We usually get knocked out in the first or second round, so we'll see.
All right. See you later.
Yep.